actually the third time that I've tried to make this video. All right. So that already tells us something. So let's get into this spiritual warfare. Am I being attacked? Am I the subject of it? Whatever, whatever. So first of all, let's talk about what spiritual warfare, negative energy, evil eye, like all those things, what it can look like, right? So it can look like being unbalanced, imbalanced. It's funny because I know somebody had said something like, some spiritual teacher had said before, like if you find yourself falling a lot, like if you're just not typically clumsy, you're falling a lot, you're dropping things a lot, just like that type of thing. Just this things being like out of the ordinary, right? Feeling a sense of being overwhelmed with things that we typically would be able to breeze through. Again, but what this feels like, and Spirit, am I right before I say it? Let me get a little confirmation. Y'all know I love to get my confirmation. Am I correct? I am correct. There's a yes right there with the judgment. Okay. So, and also the Queen of Pentacles is also a yes. So this is like not withstanding all of the things that happen in the world. This is like being bombarded with an overwhelmingly amount of bad, quote unquote, luck, that and chaos, because it's also chaos when it's in reversed. Again, that's like not normal. That's extremely out of the ordinary. Y'all get it. Like if you're on this video, you already know. I don't even need to go into all that. All right. So then the why. Why would anybody want to, like, you've seen those videos where it's like, imagine people hating me and I'm just like singing in the shower or something like that. Why might you, me, us, we, the collective we, be the subject? I'm not saying I'm the subject of anything. Cancel and delete. No weapons formed against me shall prosper. But why the spiritual attacks? Why the hate? Why these attempts at hexing people? Ew. So we have the 10 of Pentacles here. So this is a card of legacy. And you see there's a family here, right? There's the parents, there's the grandfather, there's the dog. Everything is here. So it could be people just hating on how they think your life has been. And they could be totally wrong, right? Now, Mike, this has got to be Mercury retrograde. It's got to be. And I typically don't even pay attention to Mercury retrograde, but or it could just be me being clumsy. Okay. The sound is back. The sound is correct. All right. So could be what people perceive your legacy to be, of course. And isn't it interesting? We start off with Pentacles, and we know Pentacles are resources, human resources, material resources, things of the earth that we need, right? So this could also be people feeling like you're abundant materially. People feeling like you have a sense of stability because this is a 10. So this is like the end of a cycle, right? Before we go into the court cards in the tarot. So this could be like people feeling like you're at the pinnacle of whatever you're trying to do. Like maybe you're just a go-getter, because we do see the Queen of Wands here also as a Y. You know, the Queen of Wands is also the witchy queen. You could be in a spiritual community. You could be in a spiritual community. You could be in an ATR. You could be in a coven. A pagan. You could be whatever. You could be just like in the mix with folks. Heck, you could even be in church and people think you're a witch because this is the witchy queen. So this could be like the hateration and the holleration because people feel like you have an abundance of spiritual gifts, being that Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, she's also pretty attractive. Could be that too. Sex shop. What did I say? You could be very sexy to everyone. You could just be that person. Wherever you go, you get a lot of attention. What else do we have here? Wow. Putting on a show. People could feel like you're fake, you're phony, you're not real. Maybe you had a glow up. Maybe you had a full glow up. Am I right with this? Wow. Yep. The world. Disappointment. You know what? Maybe you were a person that was disorganized. You had a lot of chaos. And you were like the flaky one. You had a lot of disappointments. And you glue up. Glue up? Glowed up. You glowed up, right? Maybe, you know, 3 of Wands. You set a goal. You know, the 2 of Wands is about planning. 3 of Wands is like you're growing, you're expanding. So perhaps you just like, you went from this person, I honestly, it doesn't take much. You went from this person to that person, okay? And they're like, you ain't all that. Like, you putting on a show, right? Like, yeah. Okay, so we have here destroyed. Okay, we'll leave that to the side. Don't want to hear it, total drama. Oh, don't want to hear it, total drama. Again, glow up, separation energy. Oh, wow. Separation energy, 3 of Pentacles, collaboration. You used to come out with us. You used to drink with us. You used to do all the things. Now you don't want to hear the gossip. I can't chisme. You don't want to hear the chisme anymore, right? But I know the real you. You're fake, you're phony, blah, 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 blah. They could just also be not happy with themselves. We don't need to even go further with that. Private relationship kicked to the curb. Private relationship. Is this like with the divine masculine? Yeah. So we have a yes here. We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. We'll come back to this destroyed because I have an idea of what that is, but I want to get some clarification. Oh. Huh. Okay. Private relationship kicked to the curb. So this is pretty obvious, right? So kicking somebody to the curb, perhaps because they're just like lazy. They were just lazy. Or they kicked you to the curb. Knight of Pentacles in reverse, but this is a yes. So they kicked you to the curb, or this feels like they kicked you to the curb, actually. This 26 is about work. Work. Is this like, oh my God. Oh shit, this is reminding me of, oh my God, wow. Is this being kicked to the curb because you... Being kicked to the curb because what I was thinking is because you work too much. So that is a yes. But I feel like it's even deeper than that, because to me, this is like gifts from, well, this is about benefactors. But to me, this is like getting gifts from spirit and gifts from the universe. And then we have the Emperor here. So I feel like this is like, with this 26, because this is the Sentimental Oracle, and this is about work. So it's like, yeah, you work too much. You work too much. You work too much. Yeah, King of Swords. This is a very judgmental king. But it's also a yes. You work too much, but it's like you work on yourself too much. So you're kicked to the curb because you're working to be this emperor. Because all we got here is a bunch of pentacles. All we got here is a bunch of pentacles. Like we ain't got nothing but pentacles. Okay? We ain't got nothing but pentacles and like working together, collaborating, planning, expanding, and trying to make a stake in the world. Wow. And so like really separating yourself. So the message here is like, yes, putting on a show, yes, being sexy and all of this, but it's also just like getting kicked out of the group. Again, pentacles, because you wanted more, you want more for yourself. All right. Because you want more for yourself. And that makes people feel away. Hate it for them. So, yeah. So, why the work? And I feel like, am I right? Yeah. 6 of Wands. This is a card of victory. So my question was, why the work? And what I was feeling was, did they want you to be destroyed, shattered, broken, effed up? Well, yeah. And this is the victory card. This is like a card of you being celebrated. What they wanted, you know, was for you to have misfortune. But what happened was that, you know, them wanting you to be left out in the cold with this 5 of Pentacles in reverse, actually you recovered. You finding ways to forgive, or maybe not forgive, but heal the broken heart, because these swords are falling out of the heart. And maybe you found new people and you're like, actually, I'm kind of glad you're gone. Actually, I'm kind of glad you kicked me out of the group, right? Because you were attention seeking anyway with this Page of Cups in reverse. You were super insecure. And I'm showing up, Pentacles again, as the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. Wow. Okay. You're showing up as the Queen of Pentacles in the face of being outsmarted. They got one over, right? They got one over. Okay. They got one over. You chalk it up to the game. You keep it moving, right? We also have the 9 of Swords here, which is about gossip. It could be about gossip and self-pity and things like that. So maybe this is like people talking about, I feel obviously people talking, but this is a spiritual warfare. Blah, blah, blah. So this is like gossip and things like that. So people talking about kind of what you went through, kind of happy to see you policed finally, kind of happy to see somebody put you in your place. But again, you decided to see the positive in the face of these delays and blocks that they tried to send your way. All right. Again, we just have more disappointment, unresolved issues, retribution. These are all things that they were sending your way. Okay. So we didn't set the scene. We already know. We know what it looks like. We know the reasoning behind it. So I was curious about the chakra energy and like what chakras were being targeted. So we got the heart here, the heart chakra. So really wanting you to feel like a victim. And you know, the acorn is a seed, right? And it grows into a powerful tree. So really wanting you to be off of your balance, also not being able to really see properly, see things properly. So your third eye chakra, actually, you know what? I think in this deck, I think, I'm just dropping stuff. Oh, I think I talked about that. I talked about dropping stuff and stuff like that as a part of like, and knocking into stuff, waking up with bruises and stuff like that. That can also be spiritual attacks. But I think that, oh no, I was right. It is. Okay, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. So having the third eye out of whack. So not being able to see properly, not being able to be clear, brain fog, lack of clarity. And remember, we started out with that imbalance, and here balance is again. And so and then pentacles, not being like imbalanced finances, things just really being out of whack. So perhaps some heart chakra work, some heart chakra work, and some third eye work would be helpful for this situation, because this is like the primary. It's funny, right? Because if your heart is closed off, it's going to be hard to affect the things that are third eye. It's hard to manifest the things that we want, right? Because our heart is so filled with distrust and heartbreak. But we've already seen that, like, they're not really able to do what they wanted to do. But this getting you off of your game by, again, making you feel heartbroken and low and like a victim. Yeah. To just put you out of commission. However, as I said, Ace of Swords is not going to be successful, right? Ace of Swords not going to be successful. New beginnings, like this is like, now we get into, okay, so what's coming up, right? Like what's next after this? Like we've set the scene. Okay, we already know we're going to have new ideas, new thoughts. We're having a new beginning. The clarity is coming back, right? Six of Swords. I think we had the Six of Swords in reverse. We did have the Six of Swords in reverse. Now the Six of Swords is in the upright. And the thing about the Six of Swords, if you follow my channel at all, you know that the Six of Swords is like one of my favorite cards, because it's about moving from choppy water to smooth water. And you can really see it in the Rider-Waite version, right? Like you can really see how wavy, and not in a good way, the water is and how smooth it is, right? But the thing about the Six of Swords, because swords are ideas, it's really important not to take those negative thoughts and ideas with us while we're on this journey. Which is why I think it's so interesting that all the swords are pointing to the head here, right? We want to leave those heavy thoughts at the shore. The other thing here with this book that kind of confused me until I thought about it a little bit. So the other thing I like about this is how the people, they're not looking up, right? Their head is down as the person, the gondolier, is gondoliering. The gondolier person is gondoliering. The gondolier person is just doing their job, right? They are just taking you on the journey. And to me, this is like a spirit guide. And their heads down, to me, is like them having faith that they are going from from choppy water to smooth water. And the faith, to me, this book is like leaning on true knowledge. It's like the same thing to me, right? So yeah, that's it. What's coming next? All right, full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. Great, that's January. That's the January full moon. All right. Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius, so that's further down. And then full moon in Capricorn. End of a tough cycle approaches. A personal issue reaches resolution. Show the world the real you. Because again, perhaps it's also like, again, this victimhood and this third eye attack, right? It could be work to like, so that you don't see yourself for real. You only see yourself as a victim. That could be what the work was. We don't know. It could be all kinds of work, right? But we know the end of a tough cycle is approaching and a personal issue reaches resolution. January 2026. And here you are, healing from the chaos. Again, healing from the chaos and changing. I'm changing, growing and changing. How do we get there? What are some things to remember? Okay, so we have resistance, beginning in reverse, and discernment. Am I right in what I'm thinking? Oh, I'm wrong. I got the devil. Okay, so, So what I was thinking was that it's a resistance to this message, but it's not. Well, what is this resistance about? What is this resistance about? What is this resisting? Is this an internal thing? Okay, we got yes. The Three of Pentacles again. We already had this card, but now we have it in a different deck. A card of collaboration and things like that. Oh. Resisting collaboration. Resisting a beginning. Resisting new people. Is this trust issues because of what happened? Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Cards just keep repeating. No, that was the World. That wasn't the Wheel of Fortune. So things are karmic. So the thing to understand, okay, this is like what I always hear, like it was always going to happen. Like this was always going to happen, right? It was always going to happen. This is what happens when you come in, you have light, you have all these things. It was always going to happen. And so there is no need to distrust new collaborations and new people, because you have something that you didn't have maybe before, or maybe it's stronger now, and that's your discernment. Ah, I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Okay. So we also have some sigils that you can use if you do candle work like me. So we have the Philosopher's Stone. So this is about manifesting your wishes and your goals using universal energy, or harnessing universal energy. And this is what it looks like. So you might want to take a screenshot, carve that into your candle, or even maybe just draw it and put it somewhere. If you do ritual work, as I do, I will definitely be using that Philosopher's Stone. And then we have the sigil of perseverance to keep going no matter what. So again, you might want to take a screenshot of that to help you persevere. A crystal. Citrine Spirit Quartz. Whoa. Okay. Intentional self-awareness. Here's discernment again. Here's discernment again. A centered and empowered stone, Citrine Spirit Quartz, asks that you take command over your life by having clear intentions. You can begin to lead from a grounded and assertive place, giving you the results that complements your needs. Citrine Spirit Quartz enhances your sense of self-awareness, dissolving apprehension and self-doubt to clear the matter. What material things that you may or may not possess? What? What? Citrine Spirit Quartz enhances your sense of self awareness, dissolving apprehension and self doubt to clear the way for more confidence in your daily life, no matter what material things you may or may not possess. Got it. It is highly focused, an excellent stone for planning and goals. And we had that before, but I feel like that goes along with this perseverance sigil too, because this is like no matter what the odds are to continue to persevere. So I love that as an antidote to this warfare. Other antidotes. We have ginger root. Now here's the ginger root. Now here's the ginger root. Okay, creativity. And it's so funny because Kendrick talks about that in Chains and Whips by the Clips, right? He's like, people want the tea on me. Well, here's the ginger root. It's that same thing, right? It's like people trying to be haters. And we have St. John's wort. It says communication here, but I'm leaning more towards, I mean, it could be communication to communicate your needs, but I feel like it's more the mood enhancement benefits of St. John's wort. I am not a doctor. I do not prescribe. I am just reading the cards, okay? So these are two potential antidotes to the situation if you choose to use them. And what I would say is like, obviously, when you have an enhanced mood, it's easier for you to be creative as opposed to being in a victim mindset where you have these seeds, but your seeds are not bearing root because you're imbalanced because people have just sent you an overwhelming amount of negative energy. All right. Final words. Okay. So we have card number 20. I will need to read because I don't use this deck a lot. I don't even know if I have the book handy, actually. That's not good. I don't even know if I have the book. Do I even need it? Not really, because this card is a card of work also. This is a card of collaboration and knowing and collaborating with people you can trust. That's actually what this card is about. And then card number 14, this is the goddess of rivers. And it's like, it's not Coatli, but it's like Chalakawatli, Ku. But she talks about going with the flow, basically, and being like water and yeah, being like the river. And we know that you can't stop water, right? That's the thing. Water it can slowly erode and it can also drown things, right? When it moves swiftly. So here the message is, yes, finding people you can trust. Again, back to that discernment. It's okay to trust and also to be like water. And this could also be like a flat out water ritual. And there's so much blue here too. This could also be a message. You know what? There's a lot of blue throughout as I'm actually looking at the cards. There's actually a lot of blue here. The third eye is like indigo, not that. Even though it looks weird here, but it could also be about like wearing blue, getting a blue type amulet, wearing a blue type amulet. Even in here, there's some blue in here as well. And perhaps even doing some water ritual with that river goddess being the last message. So that is what I have. If you made it this far, put a little wave in the chat, a little blue wave in the chat. And I will see you soon. Bye.